Death Battle has returned with the release of its first independent episode, Omni-Man vs. Bardock. And I'm here to share some thoughts about the new Death Battles. Overall, I thought the episode was pretty cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Honestly, I'm kind of coming down on the episode after the general reaction, but I'll get back to that at the end of my thoughts. Analysis first. They definitely went into more stuff this time for Omni-Man than last time. They kind of really scratched the surface. They went a little further into it, mostly because with Season 2 of Invincible, we can kind of go further past and see like what Omni-Man kind of becomes, even if at the very least for that it was really just the I miss my wife moment. It didn't get too much. The most we got was like in terms of like big spoilers, so I guess spoilers for Invincible, but also it's stuff that they showed in the episode, but they listed on his just like his like traits page that they show that he's the heir to Emperor Argal, I can't remember, but I mean I don't know how you say it. It was a comic book. Yeah, that's not something that's revealed until a little while later. And then also, even though they said like, if you want to find that, I'd go read the comic book to find out why the ring around Viltrum was made of dead bodies. They did also put up text blocks that kind of told you why. It was a little weird, and went more into depth on certain things like the destruction of planet Viltrum, because you didn't really have to go that far into it for the last time we had Omni-Man. That wasn't even like necessary for him to be Homelander. Bardock, on the other hand, I was definitely less familiar with stuff because all I'd seen for Bardock was the original special that he had. Like, I never watched any of the other things that he was in, and so the only thing I saw was technically non-canon, and apparently they've more or less redone it, but like in the new super continuity, and it's a little different. I think the biggest thing that's at least different compared to that original one is that he no longer has like weird psychic future sight, because that didn't get brought up at all, so they clearly just didn't give it to him this time. One issue that, again, I think we get back to like the real, like the big issues of it, but I'll bring it up now just because it does get brought up a lot. Because Bardock is kind of a really minor character in the grand scheme of things. I mean, he only exists really in a flashback. He only has like limited stuff, so you end up with scaling nonsense. I've never been a fan of scaling. Sometimes it makes sense, and then sometimes it very much doesn't. But like, because he's never done it, like, we have to find out, we need to find out what characters are equivalent to them and what they can do. So, because even though he's never shown, or it really even makes sense for him, because Goku did this in a fucking, like, anime-only scene, he's this fast. Because a different character did some other nonsense, like, because fucking King Vegeta did this, I mean, Bardock can do it, which I don't like that one. I don't mind them I don't mind them giving him Super Saiyan. Well, it's because, like, you definitely gotta have him go Super Saiyan in the fight, because it's neat. Like, all the other stuff feels more obnoxious than this potentially non-canon thing. Because the other stuff they give him isn't canon. Let's talk about the fight, though. I'll go over the extraneous things first. So, Omni-Man was voiced by Tom Schalk, who was Omni-Man the last time he was around. And it was also Kool-Aid Man, Dio, SpongeBob, Frampton Kath in Skyrim Dark Souls, and Megatron. So he does a good job. I feel like it starts a little weird. Like, it sounds a little weird at the start, but then sounds really good by the end. I don't really know. It always, whenever I've like rewatched the fight, it's kind of felt like that to me. I thought he did really good. And Bardock is voiced by Cameron Nikhad? Not sure. What else did he do? He did a bunch for Death Race, but also Sephiroth, Mario, Boba Fett, Black Adam, and Martian Manhunter. So he also does a good voice for Bardock. I feel like he's just kind of a little overshadowed by how good of a J.K. Simmons impression Tom Shaw can do. Thing to bring up is the song Solid State Invincible, very much inspired by the other Omni-Man fight song, Diabolical Invincible Me, by being a pretty good song that has a dog shit title. Like solid, like mostly, at least for Solid State Invincible, it's like, could it not have just been Invincible State Skyder? Like that would have made more sense, right? Like I'm not stupid, right? As the fight goes, animated, very cool, lots of good moments. The Omni-Man model I thought looked a little weird, but it might maybe because it was a custom model meant to like I guess fit within the style of the Bardock model, which I assume is just taken from like Xenoverse or something. But it definitely is like, here's a like very cartoony anime style Omni-Man who is a Western comic character. We get to see all the forms from Bardock. It was the only Dragon Ball fight that we've seen use the Ozaru, which that being changed from it just being a Journey to the West reference to, you know, weird alien nonsense is always goofy. I can't really think of anything like bad to say about the fight. I really liked a lot of it. The final hit at the end is really cool. The Super Saiyan, I liked how, like, because it takes place like kind of in a dark space, like a lot of things are just illuminated by the glowing hair. It was very cool. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the fight. It was just very good. The result, as it turns out, was quite controversial because Omni-Man won. Now, I definitely prefer Omni-Man over Bardock, so I'm definitely pleased with that result. What always happens in this stupid versus debating thing is that people will be like, oh, this is a debatable matchup. You know, it could go either way. But then they convince themselves that the way they think it goes is the only way possible. So whenever the other way, whenever Death Battle does it, and it doesn't go that way, they get really mad, which is what has happened here. And this one's always like, and this is one of the ones that's annoying to argue for or against, because it's just a lot of numbers. They're not like, the things that these characters can do are not complicated. They are strong and they are fast. That is it. The question is just high strong and high fast. Honestly, literally everything they did for Bardock seemed like bullshit to me. But then that's just kind of like the standard as how it goes. Like, why is Bardock like this so much faster than light? Because like 20 to 30 years in the future, Goku does this. Why? Because a character that we have even less information on, King Vegeta, is shown to blow up a planet. Why does that mean that Bardock can? And the answer is usually just power levels or some nonsense. And it's just kind of goofy. And then for Omni-Man, honestly, I like the calculation for Viltrum. That sounded pretty fun. I like whenever they show off like actual like scientific like stuff for like mostly just like things I wasn't fully aware of. Like there is a designated point, which in hindsight makes sense. Like there's a designated point of orbit between a planet and a star where a satellite will have an uninterrupted view. Like that's neat. And then but that sun disk made everyone very mad, which I will accept the thought process of like the statement used to be like that none of the weapons the coalition of planets have can harm Viltrumites is somewhat vague. They're just reading it as in like, cool, now we can harm Viltrumites now that we have these weapons, which implies that the weapons that they already had could not. That's kind of the thought process that went into that, at least I think. But overall, I don't really care, because I don't know how to calculate that, and honestly I don't think most of the people do. And then people are just going to argue that their numbers are better than your numbers or something. At least the way they argued for Omni-Man. I think the biggest one was definitely that like Omni-Man can kind of just outlast for the most part because of the smart atoms. They kind of make him functionally in. I remember they put it in like a strength feat, but it didn't really feel like a strength feat for that sun disk. That seemed like more of a durability feat, right? Because if that weapon can't harm Viltrumites, then that should be the thing. The other thing people argue is that due to, like, they give him, like, the destruction of planet Viltrum, and they're like, well, that should be cut into thirds, because that was also done by Mark and Thetis as well at the same time, and also the Infinity Ray, I think it was called. It's been a while since I read that part of Invincible. And also, that part went really fast, but that might have been just because it was all light for me. Whenever it's just numbers in the argument, it's real hard whenever you just have to trust someone else is good at math, or you just have to figure out how to do it yourself, but most people aren't. I definitely am not, because I don't know where the hell to start, and also don't care enough for at least this matchup. And it's always Dragon Ball episodes that do this. So obnoxious. Like, at least the last time we had Dragon Ball for Frieza versus Megatron, there was at least like the thought, like there was at least like the whole antimatter thing. So there was something outside of just a big number, because antimatter is like a will or won't thing. And okay, end discussion on this one. I like the episode. I guess it's going on the #1 spot for Death Battle 24, because that's the only slot there is. But we got our next time, which wasn't one that we already knew about.
Ravage them! Arsene!
Joker versus Giorno. Persona versus JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now this is a neat one, and I like it, but it's not the Persona versus JoJo that I wanted, because I would have wanted Kira versus Adachi more. And that's really just for the simple fact of, like, I mean, put it simply, I think 4 is better than 5. I played Persona 4 before Persona 5, so I definitely just have more fondness for that one, though I still like Persona 5 a lot. Of like the 3 like modern Personas, which are the only ones people know about and play, it would go like this. But I still enjoyed Persona 5. But for Giorno, Part 5 is definitely on the lower end of the scale. If I had to rank the 7 parts of JoJo that I've finished, because I got caught up on Part 8, but I never finished Part 8, and I would have to more or less restart it because I have no clue what the hell was going on in Part 8 when I was up to it. But if I was like kind of rank those, they would go like this. And honestly, everything outside those bottom 2 fluctuate depending on how I'm feeling. Yeah, so he's not the most like compelling one, but I do enjoy the idea of this one. And I have like kind of gotten into the current discussion around this matchup, and it has gotten me a little concerned of just how this is going, but overall I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. The biggest issue I have is that the general conversation has gone around that like Joker more or less has everything that he needs to win, and the question is just whether or not Gold Experience Requiem will or will not work. And the issue with that is Gold Experience Requiem is extremely unclear. But it's pretty much just like either he traps him in an infinite death loop and Giorno wins, or he doesn't and Joker wins. That's kind of where the conversation has gone and ended. I would like for there to be something more that I haven't thought about, but that seems to be where it's going. Either way, I am looking forward to this one, especially because we haven't seen another Persona character in like a while. It was Mitsuru last time. And this one will have, is a wild card, so you'll have many personas. And, depending on how they interpret whether or not personas are physical or a psychic manifestation, you'll have a persona that can reflect those. So it'll be fun. I don't know how fast wild cards are able to switch, because in-game you can do it once per turn, but that's, again, turn-based. I don't know how fast you could do it in Strikers, I didn't play that game that much. You would probably use, there was a Persona 5 anime, I didn't watch it. I don't know how fast he switches in there. That would be a good use of that. Yeah, but we'll look forward to that. I don't know how to wrap these up, so I guess I'll see you next time.